Any of you that think this is just a hobby, you're delusional. Sure, on the one-off, for little Bobby or little Sally, this can still be a hobby. But on the whole, culture and made-for-TV content, clout chasing, and corporate America is eating it up. Look, I'm a capitalist. People want to make their money. I get it, but Whatnot gave me 50 grand to spend at a card show. Ken Golden on Fox News or Fox Business every chance he gets. SGC gave me $5,000 to buy cards. I spent $100,000 at a card show. $200,000 in 24 hours. People thinking the sports card hobby is a gateway to stardom and big business. In fact, some are turning their channels into lifestyle brands. Like most of us give a crap about that anyway.
Idiot!
Don't misunderstand things. I'm not against content or small camera crews. I film at shows as well. What is getting old is when there are impressionable minds watching these channels and thinking this is how the hobby actually is, how they need to act, or the type of cards they need to buy. I get why they make it. That's the type of content that draws clicks, which in turn makes big business want to invest. That push perception starts to feel like reality, and that reality is completely distorted. I equate this in some ways to the models that used to be on the covers of magazines that all had a certain physique, that Barbie-style physique. That gave false impressions, bad habits, and dangerous tendencies to a whole generation of young, impressionable minds. Is it exactly the same with sports cards? No, but the mannerisms and realities could become distorted. Heck, did we ever think there'd be a day that at a sports show you would see a guy walking around with models that he pays on the side? Or in some cases buying subscribers, clicks, and likes in order to make them seem like they are larger than they actually are. Sad part is these people convince the money in the hobby that they're bigger than they truly are, which in turn has money and product pushed to them when it's not real. It's a frickin' joke. On an aside, do you ever wonder what those models might be thinking as they're walking around the card show floor? Kind of makes me laugh. Another thing the young generation doesn't see is the stuff that happens when it's not made for TV, i.e. traveling from place to place, paying the bills, living at home when you're 30 because that's all you can afford. All of those struggles are hidden because it doesn't draw smiles, clout, clicks, and likes. Unfortunately, that makes a lot of people watching think rainbows and butterflies in this distorted reality of how easy it is to live that lifestyle. Ironically, it's that made-for-TV content that draws in the money from big business. A lot of you may know this, but for those that don't, you realize a lot of these people charge appearance fees to go to these shows. They ask for money, airfare, hotels, and everything else for the privilege of them promoting that show's content on their channel. Yet ironically, the majority of that content for these smaller shows is centered around them and not the show that was trying to be promoted itself, with the exception of a title card and a couple minor moments in the 8 to 20 minutes that the video plays. This is your sports card hobby, folks, or better yet, sports card big business. To be clear, anyone can make any kind of content they want. They have that right. We have the right to criticize it. We have the right to question it. But the fact is, that's the content big business wants to see, because that's what's drawing your clicks. And in those clicks, the company's big cards are being promoted. The chase cards are being promoted. The high end of the hobby is shown to the public. Because of those high-end deals, you see large cards and large cash changing hands. And the amount of cash flowing shows a strong, growing hobby. That's what the businesses want you to see, so that's where they're going to put their money. But why wouldn't some of these companies look at other channels that aren't creating this shillish type of content? There could be a different path. While it might not be as exciting, there is a large swath of the community that watches people like baseball card collector, investor, dealer, Scotty B Cards. Now, of course, Scotty, he does have some investments, but he provides quality, valuable content and attempts to teach and entertain. You have smaller channels in that 4 to 10,000 subscriber range that show you other types of content. You have people like JMac who are trying to show you how to make a lifestyle out of selling cards online. You have some breakers out there that are entertaining. You have like Striker, who's out there who specifically does baseball, but he's super entertaining and produces other content as well. The moral here is you don't have to just follow one type. Business could go down different paths, but society and the way we're growing is showing where the money goes. Of course, showing the real side of things and the hobby-specific content doesn't draw the clicks and tension that the big buys, the big sales, and the big personalities will draw. And for big business, that's where they're going to put their money because that's where they get the most bang for their buck. I am not against capitalism. Not at all. But the overwhelming amount of this type of content just pushed into everybody's face is distorting reality and creating a false sense of success and glamour to a younger generation of impressionable minds. Do you see the way these kids run up to these guys at shows? They give them presents. Are you serious? You have an 8 to 15-year-old kid using their hard-earned money to buy presents for someone to give to a show. I mean, don't get me wrong, great on the kid, super nice kid, but really? This is what we're doing? The fact that we've gotten to this point is frustrating the shit. Look, the reason it's so frustrating is you have a large swath of these people that frankly don't know the hobby. If it's anything pre-ultra modern, they're out. But it's just not the old guy and me saying, oh, the young guys don't know about the old stuff. The stuff they really don't know about is how do you build a collection? How do you teach a younger child to build a collection? How do you show someone to have fun in a hobby that doesn't require them to mortgage a home? And most importantly, because of the content a lot of these people show, it shows you they don't truly give a crap about the future of the hobby for the next generation. And for me, one of my big efforts is always setting the hobby up for the future. They operate in a self-licking ice cream cone, corporate money funding a fake lifestyle, and the adoration of young kids wanting to be like them or get their autographs. And if you listen to what I'm saying and take it a step further, listen to how some of these 10 to 15-year-old kids act. The same mannerisms, the same attitudes, the same personality of the people they admire on TV. Because let's be clear, to this generation, YouTube is TV. Not lost on me is the fact that these kids look up to some of these folks. And some of these folks have been convicted of crimes, been put in prison, are horrible role models for children, but on some kind of redemption tour. And the nice thing about their content and the content that big business is promoting is they can hide all that stuff in the past. They don't have to tell you the horrible person they probably truly are. They've just found a new way to make some money. But of course, if stopped by a kid, they'll sign their name, they'll hand them a present, and then they'll press. Then you wind up with a lot of younger kids who worship the ground these people walk on, but they don't really know the people they're worshiping. Of course, the onus is on the parents to a degree to help educate their children, but in off cases, a lot of those parents don't know it either. So what do these bastions of great society do for the hobby in the future? Do they actually care about the future of the hobby? Better yet, are they required to? Frankly, no, not at all. They're not required to do anything. That's the beauty of this country. They can live their life however they want. But should they to a degree? Yeah, they should. At a minimum, when a young kid goes up to you to show, spend 5 minutes. Teach them what the life is really like. The grind, the effort, where you stand. Go ahead and do your thing. Go ahead and make your money. But teach the kids, at least in the small areas where you can teach, about anything that you might know. And help foster the hobby. Oh, and for those of you that know who you are, can you do me a favor? Go ahead and put your parents on camera. They deserve to be seen. After all, they're paying for the house you live in anyway. But then again, these are just my thoughts.